What's going on, my eaters? It's your boy, Chef Drew, a.k.a. Chef, a.k.a. Big Drew, a.k.a. We talking to Aaron again, y'all. But before we do that, please, please, please like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do so we can keep bringing you this content, y'all. Here we go. So once upon a time, a long time ago, Aaron, I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce where I live with another business that I had.
Okay.
Bad experience. To me, I went to this group, they took some money from me, and they wanted me to show up for all these events or whatever, but it just was not an enjoyable experience. It didn't benefit my business. And so for a long, long time, I had a great disdain for networking groups. I wasn't with them. I felt like a lot of them were hustles, right? And then earlier this year, the PR lady I was talking to, she brought me to 1 Million Cups, a networking group locally, where I met you. I have grown to really care about that group. I've gotten a lot of value out of it. Have made some great relationships personally and professionally. Completely and totally changed my mind on networking. I do think some of that has to do as well with just maturing in me, but needless to say, networking groups, I'm a fan of them now as long as they're the right ones. Because I see you at networking groups, I've seen you at a few now. Talk about the importance or the value in professional networking groups for the person who's at home who may not even know it's a thing, or who can't justify the finances behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got something to offer the world, if you're a chef, if you're a business coach, if you are an accountant or an attorney or a mechanic, or whatever your journey has led you to become, whatever you have to offer the world, in good faith, I can make the world a better place through the skills that I have, through the heart that I have, and this is how it's manifesting itself into the world. Now, don't hide it under a bushel, as the song goes, right? Go out there and share it with the world. Tell people where your heart is and what you want to do. So networking groups are just a way to share with the world your purpose and to tell them who you are and how you can help. And then it's a way for you to find people you can be of service to. That is the way to approach a networking group. It's not, I'm going to go to this networking group and then I'm going to sign a bunch of clients and then I'm going to make a bunch of money and, I'm there for the networking group to serve me. Wrong. You will always lose in a networking group if you go at it with that mindset. You have to walk in with the heart in people can smell it on you. Like they can smell if I just want to close a deal. I just want to close a deal.
Right.
Versus if, how can I help you, Drew? Like, what do you do? You're a chef. Okay, tell me more about that. Like, if they genuinely care about you, then you build a real relationship and then you could actually help the person.
Right.
Sometimes it's doing business together. Sometimes it's making an introduction. Like at the 1 Million Cups. I met a young man named Aiden. He's a brand new, fresh entrepreneur. He's like 18 years old. And
he's a pretty phenomenal dude, y'all.
He's okay.
He's pretty phenomenal. Let's just say at 18 years old, he's doing things I was not thinking about. I mean, just say that.
So he still owes me a pickleball paddle. One of the ways, just getting to know him, was able to help him out, helped him a little bit with his 1 Million Cups presentation, and then introduced him to a business. And now he's doing business with another company. Just because I made the introduction. And it wasn't because I'm special, just you walk in with a heart to be helpful and to be of service, and then you will benefit from the networking group. You will add to the group. You will change the culture of the group by way of your simply having that approach. Go to a networking group trying to be of service and to love the people in the room. Get to know them. That's how you do it. And that's really all I have to say, other than if you're going to be a business owner, you do have to be very careful in where you spend your time, right?
That's what I was about to ask you.
So you can't go to every networking group every single day because that's not productive. We need to be very clear and strategic in where we're going to spend our time. So
Right.
you do have to do direct sales. You do have to do marketing. You have to do bookkeeping sometimes. You have to do cooking. You have the business of your business. So be strategic in the groups you choose.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you need to know who your target audience is. What are the businesses I can best serve?
Right.
I'm a chef, so who do I need to be in front of? Then you choose the networking groups that will get you in front of those people. You give them a try, but you still are going at that group with the heart to be of service,
Right.
not the heart to win a client.
Right.
That changes how you talk. That changes how you listen. It changes everything. Your heart.
Be a servant, y'all. That's essentially networking. And you know, I like the way you articulated it, because if I'm real with myself, when I was a part of that, the Chamber of Commerce back in the day, I wasn't thinking about serving nobody. I was thinking about making some money. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they did smell it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I was in there like, yo, he just wants to sell this food real quick.
Yeah.
But I do know my attitude is different now. So
sure.
That was great.
I mean, you have to sell things for your business to grow, right? You have to have clients. You have to be able to do that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with earning, because the more you earn, the more impact you're having in the world. Sales are just a measure of how impactful in the world you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a measure, not the measure, a measure.
Right.
So it's important to sell things. It's important to hone that process, but your heart's got to come first.
Yeah.
You got to know who you are, who you want to be, and then walk in just sharing that with people.
Right. If you lead with the heart, the other stuff will come.
Yep.
So, Aaron, tell me this. You're a business coach. You're also an HR director. Where do you see business owners messing up? Mm-hmm. Where do you see? Talk to the mom and pop grassroots entrepreneur who's watching this, who's at home trying to figure it out, or maybe they find themselves on the hamster wheel, mm-hmm. or maybe they're burnt out. Mm-hmm. Where, from your perspective, dealing with people in business, where do we mess up?
Okay, well, I'd say primarily, especially as you're getting started, you're going to mess up in one of four areas.
Uh-huh.
One is the biggest, and I'll get to that one last. The first area is time mastery. So you need to be a master of when and how you're spending your time. So you have, as an entrepreneur, on any given Monday morning at 9 a.m., you've got a million things that you could be doing. You could go out and go door-to-door selling. You could call a marketing agency. You could make some of the product that you're trying to sell. I mean, you have a number. You could take a nap. You could go to the gym. You could do whatever. You have a lot of choices.
Right.
What do you do? How are you going to spend your time? How are you going to track the results of how you're spending your time?
Right.
That's number one, time mastery.
Time mastery.
Yep. Number two is money mastery.
Uh-huh.
So how much money do you have coming in? How much do you have going out? What is the opportunity cost of the time you're spending?
Yep.
So how much does each hour of my time cost me, and how am I recouping that?
Right.
So money mastery is number two. Number three is delivery mastery. So that is actually delivering the service you say you'll provide at a high level every single time. This is something Chick-fil-A does very, very well. Yep. Right? So they're the classic. I mean, you could go to any Chick-fil-A in the country. The waffle fry is going to taste the same.
You know what your experience
Spicy chicken
is.
Deluxe with pepper jack, extra mayo, and extra pickles. It's always going to be
what
the
you
same.
know about that?
You're
leaving me hanging, Aaron. You're leaving me hanging. You're leaving me hanging, Aaron.
That's good. Oh, dude, I didn't see. So every single time, the delivery of the service you're providing needs to be high quality every time.
Yeah.
So those three are areas where entrepreneurs are going to struggle because it's only them and a partner or something.
Time, money,
and delivery. Yep, those are the three areas that people are going to struggle with a lot. That's where I'm going to plug myself a little bit. That's where somebody who has a heart to be helpful, we're going to help you come in, and we're going to help give you a system to help guide you in those three areas.
Right.
But the number one area, if you're going to ask me for one, it's the fourth, and that is destination mastery. And I talked about it a little bit before. It's who do you want to be? What is this business going to become? Who are we trying to serve specifically, not generally? If you know where you're going, the rest of your decisions kind of generally tend to fall in line. Mm-hmm. I know that one of our clients is a school. I know that they want to open up multiple locations. I know that they want to add this many staff. I know what their mission is with their students. They have a very clear idea of what they are and what they're going to become.
Okay.
We also know how long they're going to be in existence before they sell and or move on to that next level of business, right? So they have a very clear idea of what they want to become. Without that idea, without that Michael Jordan poster on the wall, that is the number one area business owners fail because they don't feel like it's productive, right? On a Monday morning, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to come up with a vision sheet.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about my priorities. I'm going to think about my time. I'm going to think about my heart and who I want to serve. That doesn't feel productive,
Right.
but it is.
Right.
Once you go through that process and define specifically where you're headed, the rest of your decisions become so much easier. That is the number one area business owners and entrepreneurs, especially when they're just getting started, fail. Take some time, sit down with people who know you, who know your weaknesses and your strengths, decide who you want to become, and then head in that direction.
I don't think we've ever talked about that, but I'm just saying, throwing that out there, I think I might want to have that conversation with you just a little bit at some point.
Got to have cash flow too. That's important.
Yeah, got to have cash flow.
Yep.
You touched on it a little bit, but I think it's a great segue. So those are the things that business owners mess up on and create problems. One of my previous episodes, actually several previous episodes, I've talked a lot about accountability and what accountability in business can look like. I've talked about having safe people. I've talked about mentors, and I've talked about some other things, but I've also talked about coaches. Talk about accountability and the importance thereof for entrepreneurs or business people. I think maybe even more for people who are not interested in buying themselves a job, because you have a lot of those entrepreneurs who they are perfectly fine grinding 9 to 5 in the business. They make a good salary. They put it in the bank. It's there when they need it to. But then you have the entrepreneurs who are really trying to scale and grow and exit or do whatever. Talk about accountability and the benefit thereof, specifically coaching.
Sure. Yeah, I think business owners, a lot of them, like you said, they bought themselves a job. They didn't like their corporate boss or whoever. So now they are in the business making cookies or selling real estate or working, doing whatever it is that they're doing, making you go to a craft fair and they're making their stuff and they're enjoying that. That's a passion, that's a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you know that that's where you are and that's all you will become, unless you choose to do something different. You have to make different choices if you want a different outcome. Right. So for an entrepreneur, our goal as coaches for everybody that we coach is ultimately one day to offer the business owner the freedom to do whatever they want. So you want to have a business that works without you. You could go to Europe for a month, come back, and your business is bigger than when you left. Because you have a team, you have systems in place that do those things, the delivery and the time, the destination, and all of that, all the things that have to do with the business. So that's our goal, is to make businesses self-sufficient and autonomously running things that the entrepreneur ultimately owns. But you can't get there without accountability, to your point. So you need people in your life that will be your guardrails, that will check you when you get off course, that will push you when you're tired, that will have the freedom that you've given them to speak into your life and say, look, we really do need you to get these books in order, because without them, we can't make good decisions. We really do need you to hit that target list and go out and beat the streets on these specific targets to let them know that your service is available so you can get new clients. Like whatever that next step is, specifically tactically in your business, you need to have somebody pushing you in that direction. You can't have that unless you're honest and transparent with the people in your life. If you're fronting and telling everybody I'm the successful entrepreneur, then everybody thinks that, and no one is going to speak into your life and be like, hey. But if you're honest with people as to what you're working on, how you're spending your time and money, then they have the opportunity then to hold you accountable to that Michael Jordan poster that you ultimately want to become.
So let me speak to the person out there right now. I've been doing my business in some form or the other for over 10 years. I've been doing it full time, for real. Technically like 3 years, but life happened, so maybe like 2 years. In comes Aaron. And when I met Aaron, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I had never tracked my finances in my business ever. Like never. That sounds pretty embarrassing and foolish to say, but it's the truth. I just hadn't. And I think the way I justified it was the business was fledgling, it's just new, getting off the ground, and I wasn't making enough to make it important. I was wrong. And it cost me a lot more money to fix this issue than it needed to, but that's a whole nother story. However, so when I met Aaron and his partner Nate, the first thing they didn't care about nothing, y'all. All they got on me about was getting my numbers straight so I could speak to the numbers. Whoever you are out there who is operating your business, whether it's grassroots or not, and your numbers, your financials, you don't got that thing locked in, dialed in. That doesn't even mean you have to do it. If you're willing to pay someone to help you with it, find safe people, find reputable people to help you do it. But if you are not drilling down on your financials and are able to speak to them and create goals and milestone and mile markers for your business, you ain't gonna never get nowhere. I'm just sorry. I was so frustrated before I met Aaron and Nate thinking about my business, because there was just a part of me that knew I didn't know the numbers, knew I couldn't speak to the numbers, and was like, yo, this ain't a real business. These guys pushed me. I think we pushed on each other, but they pushed me to get this thing done. It took me a couple months, but I got it all squared away. And I got to tell you, the sense of accomplishment, one, by getting to that point, that I felt was great. But more importantly, it felt amazing to be able to set a goal that was based in fact. And I think that's what your numbers do for you. One of the things they do for you is it allows you to set goals for your business from a place that is factual and not, I think, or we'll see, or maybe. So if you know you don't, you know it too. Y'all know y'all the ones who ain't got your numbers right and you out here fronting. Mm-hmm. Take the time, do what you got to do, hire a bookkeeper, find a coach, do whatever you got to do to get your numbers straightened away so you can move your business forward. It won't happen otherwise. Plus, if you ever want to scale this thing and sell this thing and you can't show your numbers for real, you ain't selling nothing, just saying.
Yeah, your sales price is a multiple of your EBITDA. So earnings before taxes, interest, and depreciation. So you're not gonna, you don't know what your business is worth unless you know your numbers.
So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Aaron, before we let you go, talk to us a little bit about balancing entrepreneurship, grinding, and life, social life, family life, your dad, your husband. Talk to them about a little bit about that, because you're a very busy person. Every time I talk to you, you got something going on, but I know you have a life as well. So how do you navigate those waters?
Yeah, I think what I have found so far in my 40 years of being on this earth, that you're, and the people that have taught me, keep your life simple. Know what you want to do and say no to everything else. A lot of opportunities are going to come your way in life. Just know who you are and what you want to become. So for me, I want to be a good dad, I want to be a triathlete, I want to be a business coach, and I want to be a fitness coach. That's pretty much the 4 things that I do. Okay. That's almost entirely everything I do. Right. And I play a little bit of video games with my friends, still go to poker nights sometimes with the guys. I like to go skiing for vacation. I mean, right. There are other ancillary things, but those take up a very, very small percentage of my time. Okay. The overwhelming majority of my time is spent on those 4 things. And that's all I do. So as an entrepreneur, know what you want to be when you grow up. And do that and do almost nothing else. Don't try to whatever. Like everybody's life is different. Everybody has these things that suck time away. Whether it's, I mean, for some people, it's as silly as like scrolling on Facebook. Like people spend hours doing that.
Yeah.
Say no to everything that isn't something that gets you closer to where you want to be.
Right.
So there's a famous kind of philosophical concept that's like, if you make a 10% increase every day, you get a little bit better, 10% a little better every day. Eventually, you'll make this amazing progress, right? That's actually not true, unless there's one critical piece. So if you make 10% progress in this direction, and then in this direction, and in this direction, and then this direction, and then this direction, eventually you're kind of generally in the same spot.
Right.
You only make progress if you're moving in one direction. So take something super simple like my triathlon hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a career, it's a hobby. So it holds a certain place in my life that is not reserved for family or for vocation. But it is a hobby that gets me fit and helps me mentally and all those things. But for triathlon, when I go to the gym, I'm only doing those exercises that are going to make me a faster triathlon that help me get on the podium when I race. I'm only doing those, like I do Pilates, I do core exercises, I do running, swimming, only enough weightlifting to help my core, not enough to really bulk up because I want to be light and fast. So even when I go to the gym, I'm saying no to all the other gym activities I could be doing, racquetball and basketball and golf or all that other stuff. I'm only doing those things that are going to get me closer to the goal that I have for myself. So the trick is say no as much as possible and say yes to the things that the 80-year-old version of yourself will be proud you said yes to.
That's awesome. Tell me this. You deal with entrepreneurs every day. You are an entrepreneur. What are the top 3 to 5 traits when you think of the entrepreneurs that who are knocking it out of the park, whose businesses are thriving, who have freedom in their lives? What are the top 3 to 5 attributes or characteristics that you recognize in them?
It's a hard question. I think number one, you touched on it at the very beginning: grit.
Yeah.
You got to have grit. You got to have vision. You need to know who your friends are.
Yeah.
And hold those people very close. You need to be transparent. You need to be loving. You need to be kind.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, dude, you're the the hard-nosed Hell's Kitchen kind of attitude. It's great for TV.
Right.
Not great for operating a business or building long-term sustainable relationships.
Dope. And as we close, I'm going to close with this question for you. What is one day when you're no longer here, what do you want your entrepreneurial or just life legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered as far as a business owner or as a man?
That's a really hard question. It's a personal question, so I think I would like to be thought of the way that my grandfather is thought of, and the way my other grandfather actually is thought of. So one of them is passed, the other's not, but both of them were kind of thought of in the same way. Both of them were pillars of the community in the towns where they lived. Both of them served in local government because they felt like it was their duty to give back.
Yeah.
Both of them were active in charity. Both of them were successful in business, so that they earned so that they could then help and give. So I hope I grow up to be like my grandfathers. That's where I'd like to be when I'm 85, 90.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Aaron, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
my
you
pleasure.
for coming to the Eating
Thank you for the
Chambers.
chicken and dumplings, man. Those things were freaking awesome. Like 9.9, man. Like Nan, I got your back, Nan. Like, I love you. He's the next evolution in the chicken and dumplings.
Man, Nan, I would like you to know that I literally asked him to tell me about your chicken and dumplings, and he did with great detail.
Yeah, I told him
so
exactly how to do it.
I let that inspire me. So
There you go.
I'm glad you enjoyed them. Again,
Those
thanks
are
for
amazing.
talking to us, man. Y'all, listen. My business coach, he came, he chatted with us for a little bit. Hopefully, if you don't, then something's really, we got other issues, but hopefully you were able to glean something from his insights. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Please, please, please Like, subscribe, do all the things to help us keep bringing you this content. And remember, Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John on all podcasting platforms. Check out my homies, man. They got some great content, great guys. Until next time, y'all, we are gone.